This is the BS.
All right, thanks for joining us. Once again, we've got an Odyssey check-in with a guy that's near and dear to my heart. Both of us Orlando dudes. I was there from day one when Creed was playing in front of 2,200 people at the Hard Rock and even smaller crowds before that. And now fast forward all these years, and Scott Stapp is not only an amazing solo artist, but just an icon in the rock business, was selling well over 53 million albums between Creed and his solo stuff. And we've got this new single, Higher Power, that I got to tell you, Scott, maybe some of your best work, my brother. How are you?
Thank you so much, man. And thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, no, Higher Power, dude. I know this is, we'll get into it all, but it's a product of COVID and being indoors and all that stuff. But this is a very, very powerful song. I mean, real powerful. When people hear it, they're going to want to go back and hear it again to make sure that they understand all of the lyrics. I'm assuming it was meant to be that, right?
I'm very lyric focused,
Yeah.
and it definitely was meant to be that way. And you know, the song is actually, in reality, the writing of it began during an experience I had in 2006. And so that's kind of the basis of where the lyrics were born. And a good friend of mine and co-writer and producer, Scott Stevens, who I've been working with for years now. And we've developed a friendship, and he knows my story. And we've shared so much together during our other songwriting sessions that, you know, he knew the story, and I had shared it with him so much. And he came to me and he said, "Hey man, I've got an idea. Come to the studio." And so I went to the studio. He had a music bed and some lyrics bouncing around based on our conversations over the years. And then we wrapped it up together. And it really, really conveyed the message that I'm trying to live today and am living today.
Yeah, you know, we've all come a long way, and you know, in your world, Scott, the world has seen it unfold, and I think I think the world of you, bro. And I just, what you've been able to do is you've inspired people, you know, with especially this song, I think, and we're seeing a run of this, and maybe it's the way that the world works now, but we're seeing a run of very, very inspirational and spiritual music. You know, Jelly Roll comes to mind, right? And you, I think, are the guy to kind of get in on that, because, you know, even with Creed, the songs have always had that kind of message. Do you mind if I ask what, you know, you said it 2006, there's something that happened. Do you mind if I ask what it was that happened that started to inspire Higher Power?
Yeah, and I wanted to go back and comment on what you said. You know, I've been writing about spiritual things and pointing people to a higher power and to the God of my understanding, which is a Christian God, which is Jesus Christ, since 1994. And so it's nice to see that others in the business are starting to find that connection all these years later, and that the music industry is palatable and open to receive it. So I'm happy to see that it's finally something that others are connecting to, and that others can share in their music. And now to get back to your second question about what happened in 2006. Well, I shared that in my book, Sinner's Creed. I had a fall, and you know, I shouldn't have survived it. And during that fall, I had a real during the accident and after, you know, I had a real come to Jesus moment in my life. But it's been a long process, because it's so hard, I found, to unlearn behavior and relearn new behavior. And it takes a daily commitment. And sometimes you're going to stumble. Sometimes you're going to go years on the right path, and then boom, you're going to fall. But it's all about getting back up, using that as a lesson learned to help build your character strength, so you can not only be a better human being, but continue to move forward. And with the platform that I've been given, try my best to share those experiences and messages to help others who may be going through the same things.
And you're talking about mental health. and try to find the right path. You know, the company that I work for, this check-in Odyssey, that's at the forefront of this company. That's very near and dear to them. They have a website called imlistening.org. That's the URL where they focus just on that. And in your case, Scott, in what ways do you believe talking about it, you know, especially you talked about your platform, what ways do you think talking about it in these different topics can help others, and what kind of feedback do you get from your fan base?
Well, I think the way that you can talk about addiction, alcoholism, mental health issues, other struggles in life that people go through, and losing loved ones, and coming down with terminal illnesses or illness in general, loss, relationship struggles. I think just sharing the human experience and sharing what we deal with in life through song, and sharing my way that I learned to get through it. It may not work for everyone, but it worked for me.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just try to continue to point people to something greater than themselves, higher power, because that's what's gotten me through all of this. And of course, the love and support of family and friends, because that's all part of it. But I think sharing that lets people feel like they're not alone out there.
Right.
And that's the message that I've heard from fans is, hey, man, I connect with you because I'm going through an experience right now, and your music came on and it connected with me and I felt it. And it inspired me to make it 24 hours more, to make it one more week, to keep going, keep surviving, keep living. And that's what I really feel like I've been put here on this earth to do. And it's a difficult calling, so to speak, because unfortunately I've had to learn a lot of life lessons the hard way and very much in the public eye. Yeah. But I own that. And I don't live in that house anymore. I've moved. And so here we are today. And we're here to just continue to just do what we feel led inside. Yeah. And it comes from the heart, because that's always what's been a driving force within me.
And your family is so important to you. I mean, if anybody follows your wife or, you know, sees what Jacqueline does and what you as a family do, especially in that Tennessee area, it's almost every post is something that you guys are doing as far as a charity organization. And when you have a song like this that's so deep, right, and there's so much to it, and you said it goes back to 2006, so you're looking at, you know, 15, 16, 17, 18 years of time in between. Do you take it to, is your wife the first one that gets to hear the mastered version and go, what do you think? And then does she ask questions about something she might not know? Like, what are you talking about there? I don't know anything about that, Scott.
Sometimes, you know, of course, that's the nature of being married. Yeah. But you know, one thing about this song is it yes, it was founded on an experience in 2006, but there are other experiences that you go through as you're continually trying to rebuild and improve, and you're taking 2 steps forward and 3 steps back, 3 steps forward, 2 steps back, that the song applies to in my life, all the way up to the present. You know, in no way have I arrived. I'm here today, and I'm okay today. Mm-hmm. And so that's where my focus is on, man. It's just one day at a time.
Yeah. Do you ever, last time I talked to you, I meant to ask you this question, and because I'm curious, you know, when I interview those people like yourself in that position, and you've traveled the world, but you all have roots, you know, and your roots are my roots in Orlando. Do you know, after all these years, on any given day, do you wake up and just reminisce about one particular moment at the beginning of when it all started? Is there one moment that sticks out from those days?
There's a few. I think the most critical moment that sticks out was the first time that Mark and I had gotten together since high school, and actually got together with the intent to see if we were compatible and creatively compatible to start a band. And I'll never forget showing up to his apartment, walking in, and he just started jamming. I started pulling out my lyric books, And we just started right there, just freestyling, trying to connect things. Hey, these lyrics fit with this mood that you're playing on guitar. What are your ideas? What are those ideas? And we both were so hungry. And it really just is a defining moment in my life, which would set the table for the rest of my career.
You should buy that apartment and Airbnb it out. This is where Creed was born. You know, I don't know where the apartment was. Probably someplace out by Universal, right? Kirkman Road area, those where everybody lived.
It's actually in Tallahassee, man.
Oh, so you're going back to the FSU stuff, the Tallahassee where it's
yeah.
At. Okay,
yeah,
I got
yeah.
you. Okay, so I got you there. All right. The fourth album, your solo stuff, which Higher Power is on, not many details on it. So is it like still no title, we don't have a release date, still trying to figure out what we're putting on the album? Like I'm a part of this, but what you're going to put on the album, you know, where are we at with the announcement of the album?
That is coming.
Okay.
My lips are sealed with the details of that. We're going to start off with Higher Power.
Yeah.
And I can definitely assure you that there is more to come and an album to come.
Yeah.
So just sit back, relax, and enjoy the ride.
Well, I hope you let me know. I mean, because I'm sure people would like to know. So when you heard the finished version of Higher Power, Scott, and do you do this with any of your songs? Do you like hear it and go, you know, I like it, we're going with this, but also I hear this band or this sound in that album, which is not a bad thing, mind you. But do you do that often?
No, I don't. You know, I'm hyper focused on the music that I'm creating at the time. And with Higher Power, there were like 3 or 4 other songs that were in contention for the first single. And so I really had to go with my heart, go with my gut, and go with what message I wanted to put forward to represent where I'm at today, where I'm striving to be. I'm not always there, but it's definitely someplace that I'm striving to be, and I'm here today. But you know, in terms of the song in particular, yeah, there were definitely some notes that I had made and some things that I thought maybe should be changed. And, you know, I kept listening over and over and over and comparing it with other songs. And, you know, there was some back and forth, some creative tension, which I think is good. You know, iron sharpens iron in terms of Scott Stevens and my relationship. And we definitely had some conversations about making some adjustments here or there. And we came to a good place, and I'm glad we did, because I'm very proud of the song and very proud of the message that it's putting out there.
God, I can only imagine you do all that time and you put a song together, and then when it's all said and done, somebody comes in and go, "Oh, this band just released the song, same name, and sounds just the same as this." Like, oh man, what a waste of time we just had, right?
Hey, man, it happens. There's a lot of things that happen. I remember back in the early '90s, Creed had a #1 hit called "Torn," and it was #1 across all formats except pop music. And at the same time, there was a #1 song by an artist named Torn.
Natalie Imbruglia.
There you go.
Yeah.
So, you know, sometimes those things happen. But anything's possible in the music business of today, I've learned. So
that's crazy.
You know, you just gotta do you, stay in your lane and stay focused on your goals and then let the world receive how they want to.
Yeah. Actually, I believe that even her song was a remake of a song before. Like it wasn't an original song that she had done.
I believe it was.
Yeah.
I believe it was.
Yeah. Last time I spoke to you, we were talking about your kids, and I asked you, I said, do they ever go back and look at some of the old videos and go, "Dad, you know, what the hell were you doing? What were you thinking?" And you said, yes, they'll give you a rib every now and again. Are they still doing that, or they've calmed down from going back and pulling up some old footage on YouTube of Dad?
My oldest son, Jagger, who's 24, he and my nephew John Paul did that. My daughter Milan and my son Daniel, they're not so much the same as their older brother. My little guy Anthony, though, my 5-year-old, he loves it. He wants to see my videos on repeat. He wants to hold my phone and listen to the new songs over and over again, watch the old videos over and over again. And I just love his little heart
That's
and
awesome.
how excited and positive that he is. And he's been such an inspiration to me. All my kids have, and they always will be.
That's awesome. Does he have a favorite? Does he have a favorite video?
He does. He does.
Which one?
He likes One Last Breath.
Really?
He likes that video, and he likes the What If video.
Yeah.
Those are his two favorites. But his favorite song right now from Creed that I have to play over and over in the car is Higher.
Really?
So yeah.
Do you have to sing? And he goes, Dad, you sound just like the guy. That's you. Wait a minute, that's weird. How does that work?
It's so funny you bring that up. We were on the way to school this morning to drop him off, and of course he wanted to hear the song on repeat. And then he goes, Daddy, sing it. Daddy, sing it. And so, I sang it, and he chimes in here or there. Those are precious moments, memories that'll last forever.
I'm a father. I get it. I think that's the best story I think I've ever heard somebody tell. I love that. That's good. That's the good stuff right there. I mean, we can sit here all day, right, and talk about Higher Power, the next album, and the Cruise, and all this in Creed, and the millions of albums on. But to have your 5-year-old in the car saying, "Daddy, sing your song," there's nothing better than that.
No, yeah. You're 100% right.
Yeah,
that's a priceless moment, and nothing compares to it.
God, it gives me goosebumps, man. That's good. God, I like that one. This was all worth it, man. I love hearing that. I'm a sap for that stuff, man. I'm a sap for that stuff. All right, I got to ask before we end this. Of course, the Cruise coming up and the reunion. That's a big to do. Now, you guys have had a reunion before, and this is a second one that kind of came out of nowhere. And I got wind. Yeah. I got wind of it early. And I was like, what's going on? How's this going to play out? And then people were following, and you guys did a good job of teasing on social media, and everybody, in the band was doing their things. So a sold-out Creed reunion cruise is going to take place. How did that come about?
That was something I think managers were talking about for a long time before the artists were approached. Mm-hmm. And so then we were approached, and everyone signed on. Thought it would be a good way to kind of kick things off and see what happens. We don't have anything planned after that right now. It's baby steps, but you know what? Relationships were positive. We support each other, and so we'll see what happens from there. But right now, I'm just excited to get back on stage with those guys and respect them all so much, and can't wait to have a good time on that cruise and play some Creed tunes.
Well, will you play any of your solo stuff like Higher Power, or is that like a no-no?
I'm sure it's not a no-no, but it's a Creed-focused cruise, so we're going to focus on Creed.
Gotcha.
On that cruise.
Okay, gotcha. Since you guys over the years, have all gone and done special things, and in your own right, everybody's kind of done their thing, like to do a tour where you're not only doing Creed stuff, but you're doing your solo stuff. You're doing, Mark's stuff. Even maybe throwing some of the Alter Bridge stuff, I guess. But, like that is that even feasible, or is that just like taboo that would never even come to the table and be a question to do? I think from the fan standpoint, that would really be cool.
Who knows? I mean, scheduling and the amount of shows in a row, and how that would work in terms of organizing it. It's definitely something that I can't say would never happen. Right. But right now it seems unlikely just because of the nature of touring and who knows, there's no tour on the schedule. So again, we'll focus on the cruise and go from there.
Life is too short, Scott. You know this. Get on the horn and make some calls to your people. I'm telling you, things can happen fast for guys like you. Will there be at least, you could probably handle this one, right? Like a solo tour for the upcoming album. Do you have that in the works?
Yes, we do. Okay. We have that in the works, and announcements will be forthcoming.
Okay. All right. So everything's kind of secret right now, other than the song. The album's secret. The tour is secret. Is it going to be a world tour, U.S. tour? You're not even going to answer that, Bet. I bet you're not going to answer that, are you?
Hey, I'm just going to let things unfold and take it one day at a time.
Hey, look, I love it. I love the suspense. That's good.
I'm a free spirit, man. I have to let other people kind of who are better equipped it's their nature.
Yeah.
To kind of think long term like that. I kind of am in the moment kind of guy, and my whole career I've kind of just flown by the seat of my pants, so to speak. Now, as I've gotten older, I've gotten better at planning, and I get on those calls and whatnot. But right now, I'm just in the moment and taking it one day at a time. And when it's time to announce what's unfolding, you'll be the first to know. How about that, Tiffany? Make sure he's the first to know.
Look, I'm going to hold you and Tiffany to that stuff. So if you get a call like right after we get off this conversation, they go, Scott, I need you in Austin. We're starting the tour tomorrow. You're like, cool, dude. I'm on a plane. I'm going.
All right, we'll let you know.
Okay, there you go. Look, all right, let's wrap this up. But let me tell you, seriously, I mean, we've had some fun. We always do. I love this song. I really, really do.
Thank you.
I think this is great. I've always been a supporter, and I'm a fan through thick and thin. And this song, my personal opinion, take it for what it's worth, going back to the part of the conversation where there's more inspirational music and it doesn't have to be genre specific of, oh, that's Jars of Clay, they're Christian rock, or is Creed a Christian rock band? Should they be played on active rock radio stations? I think this world needs anyone that has an inspirational message. And I don't care who it is. Have an inspirational message. Bring people up instead of pushing them down. And this song does that to the 10th degree, my friend, to the 10th degree.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. Well, I'm the first to know about a lot of different things. Everybody's heard it. Scott Stapp, scottstapp.com is the website. You can get updates, of course, for these tours, the cruise thing sold, but Creed possibly doing a couple dates afterwards. And, of course, Scott's going to go out in support of the fourth studio album for Higher Power, which you're going to hear everywhere, to the point where you're going to get a hold of me and go, Jason Bailey, I'm sick of Scott Stapp's Higher Power. Tell him to release another song. That's how we want it to be.
Hey, man, let me give a quick shout out to Marty Fredrickson, who co-produced the song with Scott Stevens. Let me give a shout out to Chris Baseford, who mixed the track and did an incredible job. And let me give a shout out to Ted Jensen, who mastered it. We're not alone in this. We're a team.
Yeah.
And they deserve a tremendous amount of credit for any positive attention that this song received.
Well, look at that. Everybody gets love on this conversation. Right? Everybody gets love. All right, look, scottstapp.com. Scott, good talking to you. I'll talk to you again soon. Hopefully we'll see you soon when you go out on tour. And as always, man, thanks for your time and best of luck with this, okay?
On 98 Rock.